Okay. Okay, we're starting Hilchos Tefillin. Okay, Hilchos Tefillin, Sim Chofei. Dinei Tefillin bifrotos, vo yud imosifim. Acha shelo vashtalis, mitzuyots. Right? Yesterday I mentioned somebody put on his tefillin before they put on his talis. You're supposed to put on the talis and then the tefillin. Why? Okay. Could be. That's one. Another reason, which is given, is because Malim B'Kedusha Lo Moridin. We advance it always. You start, since this is Tashmishi Mitzvah, Tefillin is Tashmishi Kedusha. It's inherently holy. So you go from one level to another level.
Even if you wear a talit katan?
Yeah, because the reason why you wear a talis when you daven, let's say Ashkenaz people, not Yekis, right? So you don't wear. So the reason is you have talis gadol. You don't wear the talis. But why do you wear talis gadol? When you daven, it's beged miuchad l'tefillah. It's a garment which is specifically, we had earlier, once permitted to go into the bathroom with the talis gadol, right? But a talis gadol that's specifically designated for tefillah, it's inappropriate, right? Okay. After you wear the talis with tzitzis, you put on tefillin. So Mechaber says, what's the reason? Because Todshen Atod, Shemalim B'Kodesh. Of course, you advance Kedusha rather than you go from the more advanced to the lesser. You have one bag, and you keep your talis and tefillin in the same bag. If you have to first put on the tzitzis and then the tefillin, we have a principle in Avirin ala mitzvos, that if you have the opportunity to do one mitzvah, you don't pass one mitzvah, do another mitzvah. So if the tefillin are on top, and many people here, if you notice, they don't really, some people, they have the talis with the tefillin, they take everything out of the bag and they put it on the table, and now they're ready to start. But the fact is, the moment you take out the talis, you should put on the talis. You shouldn't put it down. And the moment you put on the tefillin, and sometimes the bag, they take out the shel rosh and the shel yad, and they put it on the table, and now they're going to put it on. We'll see in the halacha is you're not supposed to. You're supposed to leave the shel rosh in the bag, take out the shel yad. After you put it on, then you take out the shel rosh.
It's a disrespect if you take the post.
So we'll see the mechaber. We'll see. You're doing wrong order. You're supposed to put it, cover it, because you're not supposed to put on the shel rosh before the shel yad. So you put it, you cover it, then you put on the shel yad, and then you put on the shel rosh. 1 second. People keep the tefillin and the talis in one bag. They have to be careful that the tefillin should not be on top of the talis. That you shouldn't engage or come upon the tefillin first. Because then you're going to have to put them on before the talis. Otherwise, you're going to watch. You're passing over the mitzvah, which is a disrespect. I always mention Friday night, you cut the bottom challah and then the top. Then, right, when you say the motzi, you score the bottom one. But so the Mishna Berura speaks about this. But Eimavin ala mitzvos. Factually, the upper challah is closer to you, right? So you should cut the top one. So what do you cut the bottom? So he says, if the bottom one is larger, it's closer to you. And if it's not, he says, they're the same size, you pull the bottom one closer. So because it's closer, therefore, the one that you're engaging with first is the bottom one rather than the top one. That's what Mishna Berura says.
And where do we cut the bottom one first?
Only Friday night.
Yeah, but why?
Api Kabbalah, the Ramos says. It's Kabbalistic reasons. No, Yom Tov is the same as the day.
Shabbos day.
Shabbos day is top, the upper one, not the bottom one.
Only Friday night.
Only Friday night, right. Let's say a person, he doesn't have a talis. He travels with his tefillin, comes to a shul, and he has the shams to bring him a talis, and he has the tefillin. He doesn't have to wait. If they're both ready to wear, he should put on first the tzitzis, then the tefillin. But if he has the tefillin now, why? Because I mean, if you have an opportunity to mitzvah, you do it. The first opportunity you address the mitzvah, so you put the tefillin on, and you don't wait for the tzitzis. Should be in talis, ma'adfo, and when they bring the talis, then he wraps himself in the talis. Okay. And you what? You can't put it down. You have to put them on. Yes, yes. Let's see, Mishna Berura Tefillin.
If the man
Wait a second.
have a pair of tzitzis, can he wear his tefillin?
Again, if who doesn't have the
If there's no
tzitzis,
talis,
so you put on tefillin without. I mean, what about a person's before he's single, Ashkenazim, right? Ashkenaz person doesn't wear a talis until he gets married.
Yeah, but if he's married and you don't.
Same thing. He's no worse than not being married. What about if it's a borrowed talis? It's called shula, achar shloshim yom. After 30 days, you say a bracha. Within 30 days, one doesn't say a bracha. You have no obligation to put tzitzis on the four corners. Still, because based on the svar of malin b'kodesh lo maridi, rabbinically, yonich tefillin, umishein yodo maseges liknos tzitzis tefillin. He can't afford both. Only can afford one. Echri achron the tefillin kodmin. Why? Because tefillin is what? Mitzvah chiyuvus. It's a chovas gavra. What obligation tzitzis you have if you have a four-corner garment? If you don't own the four-corner garment, you're not obligated. Tefillin, whether you own the tefillin or not, you must put on tefillin. Right? That's called chovas gavra. It's the obligations on the person. Therefore, if you have a choice, one or the other, what do you purchase? Which is the greater obligation? One is the circumstance that obligates you. The other is it's not circumstances. The reality, if you're a man, you have to put on tefillin every day. It's the circumstance. If you have a garment of four corners, you put on tzitzis. Tefillin hu tchova. Tefillin is an obligation, is incumbent on the person. Mishein minichin hu b'chlal poshi shel b'gufan. It's the Gemara. Person doesn't put on tefillin, is considered poshi shel b'gufan, which he goes to Gehenna, he burns forever. What a person could afford both, but it's a question you can only afford to buy either quality talis or quality tefillin, right? Which one takes precedence? Talis not tefillin kodmin kuliyam the olim nichsholim is a piece. People make a mistake on themselves. Talis with Torah, the silver, all that, and the tefillin. You see what they look like, right? It says people they fail in this area. Mishain lo yod masags liknos tzitzis utfillin.
No, 750.
Is it?
Silver, it's good for $2,500. Okay.
Yeah, but that's you have hidur, different levels of hidur mitzvah. You get a very nice pair of tefillin for $900, right? But you get a pair for $400, which is considered, relatively speaking, inferior. Okay. No, because when you wrap on, but if you switch to bracha, it's also valid. It's valid. The Chofetz Chaim writes that people that give money for shuls and to decorate the shul, to build elaborate shuls, will give Sifrei Torah. But supporting the Torah, they don't. So he says, what is it analogous to? He says, there was these two sisters, and each one marries. They hadn't seen one in many years. One marries a poor man, lives a life of destitution, has a large family, struggles to make ends meet. The other the other sister marries a rich man, doesn't have any financial worries, dresses beautifully, travels, has everything in the world. After 20 years they meet, and the sister who has the large family struggling sees her sister, there's a certain sadness in her. And she speaks to her sister privately, says, what's happening? He says, I'm really like a showpiece to my husband. He doesn't value my opinion. He doesn't value me. My whole value is for him. It's not me. So the other sister says, although I have nothing, but my husband does make a decision without first discussing it with me regarding the family, and our relationship is phenomenal. So the Chofetz Chaim says, people, they'll buy the Torah, they'll adorn the Torah with silver, everything under the sun. But what about engaging with the Torah? Do they value the actual Torah? They don't value it. And you have another person, he can't afford necessarily to build a shul or give the Torah, but he values what's in the Torah. It's the same thing, the talis versus the tefillin. The Atorah and the this and the that.
You can decorate the talis, you can't decorate the tefillin.
But it's a whole different approach.
Right, so one bag, you can decorate.
David Finkelstein, Allah Shalom.
People have a silver bucket.
You ever see those? Yeah.
They're not the real fancy with the name of
But you can get fancy.
Get fancy.
Many years ago, David Finkelstein, he had a phenomenal sense of humor. And he says, the Baltukea, I haven't seen this, some people, they have a custom when they blow the shofar, they cover their face. The Baltukea, the one blows. No, only the only thing that sticks out of the talus is the shofar. You don't see his face.
Okay.
So he says, why? Because you're supposed to silence Sutton. But if Sutton would see the guy's face, he's not silencing, you understand? That's what he used to say. Talus, that's what you see, Tefillin, who sees the tefillin? Let them be inferior. It's irrelevant what they are. Okay.
Well, I have a question here. The whole concept of doing a mitzvah, a lower mitzvah before you do the higher mitzvah. Why is it? Why don't we do the higher mitzvah first? Like tefillin is the most important, much more value than the talus.
There's a concept we always advance. Malam bekodesh lo meridin. You always advance. You go from the less level to the higher.
Because the reason you're going to do the mitzvah, the reason the mitzvah, right? So why are we focused? I'm not trying to understand that.
Well, one concept of concept versus simple. You can answer the concept, but simple we go down.
One of the reasons given. You only appreciate something. Person has it good all his life. Never had a bad day. Child's raised in affluence, wealth. Does he really appreciate it? But the child who didn't have, and then he comes upon it, he appreciates it. So how do you see the specialness of the more valuable mitzvah? If you start at the lesser level, you work at the upper level. You start the upper level, firstly minimizes the lesser, and you don't appreciate the specialness of the greater. So by starting at the lesser, going to the greater, then you begin understanding one is greater than the other.
So any mitzvah we have out there that we,
But they have to. They're existing
simultaneously.
simultaneous. Exactly. Like you said, if you have the tefillin, you don't get have a talus. You put the tefillin on. You don't wait for the talus.
And the wine and the challah on Shabbos, is that similar or no?
That's a total disrespect. That's a disrespect. Because since innately bread has greater value than wine,
Right.
you should say the bracha on the bread before the wine.
Right.
But you can't eat unless you first make kiddush. So you have to say the bar pri agofen before the bread. So what do you do to reconcile? You just cover the bread. That's exactly. Because one inherently is kadosh, the other.
That's why you sort of put it on this.
Exactly. So you're advancing. You're going from the lesser to the.
It's the same concept.
Correct.
You're sort of covering it or putting it.
Why not just make it bread?
It's a b'diavad. Because whenever you sing, it says, whenever you sing the praises of God, it's always on wine, like the libations, then on bread. Bread is a b'diavad. At first, during the day, you can't make it on bread. During the day, you cannot make it on bread. Only the Friday night, because the Friday night Kiddush has a bracha, Kaddish Shabbos. The day Kiddush is only the bracha. So therefore, that's why you can't say Kiddush during the day on bread. For that reason. Okay?
It's like the wine
The Gemara says in Psochim, in Arvei Psochim, Ein Shira Ela B'Yayin. Shira song. Just as the Levium, they said the Shira, when they poured the libations, the Shira said, identically, Ein Shira Ela B'Yayin. So whenever we sing any benediction, any praise of Hashem, a special event, it's always on wine. Whether it's marriage, whether it's Birchas HaMazon, whatever it is, it's always in a cup of wine for that reason. Bris, it's a cup of wine. Or you say Bar Pri Agofen. There's no Kedusha. There's no Kedusha. It's not a Kedusha issue. Right?
No, I was just saying that the wine connoisseurs, they always start with the lesser.
The Gemara says in Megillah, David, the Gemara says in Megillah, a person was initially a Kohen Hedjit, and he was elevated to Kohen Gadol. He's not demoted afterwards. Why? Because Malim B'Kodesh Lo Meridin. Once he's elevated, he cannot be demoted. Also, Malim B'Kodesh Ve'ei Moridin. The Mishnah says in Megillah that if you have a Sefer Torah and you sell it for whatever reason, and you have the proceeds, you cannot buy anything which has lesser than the Kedusha of a Torah. You want to buy a Navi, a Klaf, a Navi. The Navi on Klaf has Kedusha, but the Kedusha of the Navi is less than the Kedusha of the Sefer Torah. And if you want to sell the Navi, and you want to buy Ksuvim, you want to buy a Megillah, you're not permitted, because the Kedusha of a Navi is greater than the Kedusha of a Megillah.
So what was to see the Kedusha of the Torah?
Nothing.
You can only buy another Torah.
You buy another Torah, exactly.
What about
What
tefillin?
about a shul that-
Tefillin is less than the Torah. Tefillin also, you sell tefillin.
Okay, so
You
it's
can't buy a
like
mezuzah.
tefillin.
You sell a tefillin. You need a mezuzah. You want to use those proceeds to buy a mezuzah. You're not permitted because the kedusha of a mezuzah is less than the kedusha of tefillin. For that reason, same idea. These are the applications of the concept. So you buy something which greater kedusha or equal kedusha, but not lesser kedusha. For that reason.
So, I mean, what's the argument then that Sukkot when we count down?
In Hanukkah,
How can we count down 3 days?
what do we sukkahs count down?
Sukkot, we
No, that's a whole different concept.
So 12, for bonus. So we're counting down.
Yeah, because that has to do with the nations of the world. That corresponds to the 70 root nations. That's a diminishment. As they're going to be diminished by the time we come to the end, the nations of the world aren't going to exist any longer. And the only one who's left is us with that Shmini Atzeres.
So, all right.
The
So
Torah-
it's
the Torah-
not a Kedusha issue.
No, but the Torah specifies how many.
The Gemara says it's a Torah concept. The Gemara says in Megillah you have Adar Rishon and Adar Sheni. So there's a question: when do you celebrate Purim? During first, the Gemara has a consideration. Maybe it should be Adar Rishon because Ein Ma'avirin Ala Mitzvos. That since Adar Rishon has relevance to Purim, so you're not permitted to pass on Adar Rishon to do on Adar Sheni. But the Gemara dismisses that because there's an overriding factor, Gula to Gula. Second one is you juxtapose it to Gula, which is Pesach. But if not for that, we celebrate Purim during the first Adar, not during the second Adar. Same idea. Gemara says, when you kiss your tefillin, you touch the shel yad, and then you touch the shel rosh. For the same reason, the Gemara says, Ein Ma'avirin Ala Mitzvos, Gemara in Yuma. No, because it's closer. It's closer. Right, your head is farther away. Yeah. What?
What's more important?
No, shel rosh has greater kedusha.
Right away.
No, but you kiss it. Because again, it's Ein Ma'avirin. No, but it's Ein Ma'avirin. You're passing. You can't pass the tefillin shel yad to go to shel rosh. Later we're going to see this paralocha. What do you put on the shel yad and the shel rosh? Right? So the answer, so it's a doraisa. Of course, it says ukshatum lo sayodecha ultotofus beinecha. So the order is first you tie it on your arm, then you put tefillin on your head. Right? That's the reason. But there's another reason the Gemara says, because malim b'kodesh ve'im moridin. Because the kedusha of the shel rosh is greater than the kedusha of shel yad. Why? Why is it great? For instance, let's say the ritzua, the strap of the shel yad tears, and you have an extra strap that was used at one time for tefillin shel rosh. You can't use that strap in the shel yad. Because since the shel rosh has greater kedusha, and that's moridin, that's diminishing the kedusha. So what's the reason? Because the shel rosh has a shin on it. The majority of Shem Hashem, you have the dalet behind your head, and you have the shin and the shel rosh. The shel yad only has the yud. So that's the reason why the shel rosh has greater kedusha than the shel yad, for that reason. It's the Gemara Shabbos. No, it's shin. It's the majority of the Shem Hashem. It's 2 letters versus 1 letter. It's 2 of the 3 are in the shel rosh. So that's the reason why the shel rosh has greater kedusha. The strap has greater kedusha than the shel yad.
I mean, if I was arguing, I would say that, if the thinking behind, the kavana behind putting on the shel yad and the shel rosh is that you have a connection of the vekas to Hashem, that you're serving Hashem with your head, you're serving Hashem with your heart, right, and your actions. So, since the head dictates what the actions are going to be, you would think that the shel rosh should come first.
But if you go with a malam b'kodesh lo meridin, right, or you go with the kshatim lo seidech totofas b'nech, the order in the Torah is the hand and then the head, right? It's also you're advancing, but it's.
Which you don't do without thinking. You think first, and that leads the action. So you think that. I'm saying understand what the Torah says.
You want to say something else, but we still said Nasav Nishma.
Excuse me, what?
We still said Nasav Nishma.
Right.
That's what the heretic said to Rava.
Right.
You're an impulsive people. Okay?
So, Rabbi, with respect to the Sephardim, so why do they not make a bracha over the shul?
No, that's a whole different discussion. The question is, the one bracha on the yad covers the shel rosh. Do we see it as one mitzvah or two mitzvahs? That's the discussion.
So,
Oh,
they can sit. I think that they can sit.
that's Kabbalah. There's some Ashkenazim also sit when they put the shel yad on.
Yeah.
We'll get there later.
Another reason for the Kedusha, the greater Kedusha of the Shel Rosh is that you have 4 clouds.
So why is 4 more than 1? So one is on one continuous parchment. Why does that give a greater kedusha?
4.
You mean because it's more effort for the sofa to write it?
Rabbi is
Okay.
short for Rebbe.
I got it. Okay, that's in English or in French?
Same letters.
Okay.
Really,
Okay, let's just. Mishin Yodom Aseks Liknos Tzitzis and Tefillin. Person financially cannot afford both tzitzis and tefillin. Ein b'chuyev lasol hapsochim k'dei liknosom. Does a person have an obligation to beg, to seek out alms, to afford to buy talus and tefillin? Which means where you could borrow it. Avol Mishin Yodom Aseks Ach Somech Al Mashe Shoah Me'acherim Ach Sheyotzu Ben. Hear this? Person could afford talus, and he says, why should I spend it? I go to shul, borrow it from someone else. Koseb Habach Onsho Godel. The punishment would be very, very, very grave to this person. It's a disgrace. He could afford it. So the person says, why should I buy it? I could find a pair in shul, borrow a pair. If you can't afford it, is one thing, but if you could afford it, it's a disrespect for everything you have money. But when it comes to the mitzvah, that you're willing to pass on because somehow you work it out differently, not to make the expenditure. It's a disrespect. So, and there's an asterisk here, because talus is as you say, is a halvatzara. Tefillin have to fit properly. If the shel rosh doesn't fit properly, you're not yotzei. And not only that, tefillin, when you borrow a pair of tefillin, who said the tefillin were checked properly? The last time they were checked. Do you know what the parchments are? Years ago, when they had shul, in the shuls, when they had shtiblach, chevres, whatever they called it, before it was. So you'd go to shul. Let's say people, when they would die, what would they do with their glasses? The families, they bring it to shul. They were reading glasses. They had a cigar box, and you'd have a number of cigar boxes. People take. Person needed a pair of reading glasses. Got a cigar box. Take out the glasses from the cigar box. They used to have a large box with pairs of tefillin in it. Not even in the bag. Shel rosh, shel yad. And you'd pick out. You need a shel yad. You picked it out from the box. Shel rosh. You can imagine what shape they were in terms of were they really blackened, were they chipped, were they kosher, were they checked? But that's what they used to do. People traveled. They didn't travel with tefillin. Go to the shul. They go to this whatever it is. It was in the corner of where it was right where the bima was. There was a box in the corner, and in that box people go over and they take out a pair of tefillin. So that's what he's saying over here. If the tefillin aren't kosher, you're in violation of saying a broch in vain. Very often, ogodl, lefi midas rosho. The tefillin are too small or too large. They don't fit your head properly. Right? And he's too lazy to open the knot and make it fit. It just puts it on top of his head. You take a pair of who said the owner really would want you to wear his tefillin, especially the way you put it back. Remember, people used to have travelers. We say, what about if the person doesn't keep proper hygiene? People used to have lice. Would you want a person putting tefillin on his head where his hair is matted? You don't want the person to put on tefillin, your tefillin on his head. So it's not so simple. A person comes into shul, puts on a pair of tefillin. It's not so simple you say this. There was a person that used to come here not long ago, a few months ago, showed up, and it was clear. He was a lawyer. Clearly had a chemical imbalance. Wasn't stable. He wasn't even really that clean, He says he'd like to borrow the tefillin. Take the tefillin out of here. I was afraid he goes with the tefillin. He's not coming back with these tefillin. Not that he intentionally would steal it. He's just not coming back. So I said to him, you want to wear the tefillin? You wear it now, and you have to wear it during a certain period of time, and tell him why. And he did it once, twice, then he disappeared. I mean, man, like, would you want him to wear your tefillin? It's not so simple. No, same idea. So that we say necheli nishlevet mitzvah b'monei, or putting on your talis. The man hasn't showered in 3 months. You want him to wear your talis. The Pri Megadah says if you don't wear the tefillin correctly, they're not centered, it's like you're not wearing the tefillin. It's like they're still in the bag. So you have all these issues. Therefore, if a person could afford a pair of tefillin, have it so-called custom. People have lahavdil elf, custom suits, custom shoes. Everything's custom. When it comes to mitzvahs, they're not custom. So it's a disgrace. To be continued. Just to still show just for a few moments.